Asteria says, Herida, salutes. Queen says, Hierete Spartans. Pirate says, Hierete Queen. Priesty says, Hierete Queen. Queen salutes.
Socrates salutes.
Asteria says, Here Queen.
Mineya says, Here Queen. Eurede. Salutes.
Queen says, How is everyone on today? Smiley face.
Mineya says, all good at the moment here.
Asteria says, God's graced me with a beautiful day. Queen says, smile. Asteria says, I hope the same for you, my queen. Queen says, Yes, Ambassador, the day was long, but I am not tired yet, ready to go and start our weekly Apella meeting. Asteria says, You will oversee it with your usual energy, I am sure. Queen says, Let's then no waste any more moments and start our meeting. Priestess says, Are you discussing something? Apella says, Queen Aurora is at the gate. Queen says, I welcome everyone to our weekly Apella meeting. Please be seated. Asteria nods and moves quickly to her seat. Queen says. Once everyone is settled, she speaks again, noble citizens of Sparta. She pauses, directing her gaze to the scroll in her hand, before lifting her eyes and commencing the delivery of her prepared speech. Dear all, once again we stand together in this sacred place where decisions shape the fate of our people. The winds from the east carry whispers of unrest, yet within our walls, within our hearts, there is no fear. For we are Sparta, the flame that does not waver when the storm rises. We are the voice of discipline and the soul of honor. Our forefathers forged this land not through comfort, but through conviction. Every stone beneath our feet bears the memory of their struggle. Every scar on our warriors tells a story not of pain, but of pride. Let the world know Sparta does not bow. We do not bend to fear, nor to greed, nor to foreign crowns, that we lead by example, through strength and sacrifice. So today, as I open this Apella, let our minds be sharp and our hearts stead. Let our words carry wisdom and courage. May the gods guide our deliberations, and may the spirit of Leonidas live within us all. Hail Sparta! Hail Sparta! Hurroo! Hurroo! Asteria says, Sparta blessed by the gods to protect us forever. Haro.
Mineya says, Aro. Aro.
Asteria says, Sparta blessed by the gods to protect us forever. Haro. Queen says, ponders for a moment, then asks, is there a talented Spartan who wishes to share their harp music with us today?
Mineya raises her hand.
Queen says, please come forward, Ephor.
Mineya says, /diagonal nuts. Mineya approaches the center of the room where the lyre rests on the table. She pushes the stool aside, sits down, settles herself, and takes a deep breath. Mineya looks at the instrument as if counting the number of strings, and with her fingertips and she lightly caresses the strings to check that they are properly tuned. Meanwhile, Mineya mentions that last time she composed a song making the notes dance with the lyrics. She enjoyed delighting everyone, although she would have loved the presence of our queen who that time was absent. Mineya goes on, today shines with your presence, my queen. If you wish, she can sing again the song that she herself composed under the influence of the muses who inspired her one clear moonlit night. Mineya flashes a shy smile, waiting for approval to sing.
Queen says, nods.
Mineya smiles.
Queen says, please do sing for us. Priestess says, are you partying? Asteria reminds that delicate song, and a hint of a smile appears on her lips.
Mineya places her fingers on the strings. She begins to move them gently and intone her melody in a lilting voice. The harp sleeps. She seems forgotten and so serene. A harp whose soft strings are tender is still waiting to hear own melodies. She waits to be found, and for the voice to come from her soul, as when the wind touches her back. She lacks a spirit to awaken her, a hand to caress her strings, so she remains silent, waiting. In the shadows, where dreams fade, like many lonely hearts, they hide songs where no one can hear them, until a voice loudly calls them. They rise, awake, and let their melodies be heard. Mineya looks around to see if their facial expressions show that they liked her melody.
Queen says, smiles slightly, for the song presented by Mineya is very sweet.
Mineya finishes her melody, notices a silence in the room, and does not know if they are asleep or transported by the ecstasy of her lovely voice, smiles.
Queen says, asterisk eboots asterisk. Asteria claps hands.
Mineya blushes at the praise she has received and at the same time is happy to be able to delight everyone.
Asteria is impressed by how Ephor combines the talents of a skilled musician and a talented composer in one person. Queen says, As the performance concludes, she gives Mineya a grateful nod. Ephor, your music and singing skills were truly enchanting.
Mineya wonders if she should play another piece.
Queen says, you may play another one, smiley face.
Mineya nods and starts to play a melody. Mineya feels each note, each chord, creating a melodic narrative that transports her to another world.
Queen says, thank you for bringing peace to our minds. You may now return to your seat. Asterisk applause asterisk.
Mineya nods, smiles and stops playing.
Asteria claps hands.
Mineya says, Eurede. Salutes.
Queen says, who will be responsible for taking notes of the proceedings of today's Apella? Asteria raises hand. Let it do it to this hand, O Queen. It won't fail you. Queen says, very well, thank you, Asteria. I now summon Hieros, Socrates, and Lammy to lead the Apella opening prayers, she proclaims. Asteria nods slightly and picks up her scroll to begin her duty. Priestess says, "Are you discussing something?"
Socrates pours libations of honey-sweet wine from his chalice for the gods. To Asclepios. Asclepios, Lord Paean, healer of all, you charm away the suffering of men in pain. Come, mighty and soothing, bring health, and put an end to sickness and the harsh fate of death. Helper, blessed spirit of growth and blossoming, you ward off evil, honored and mighty scion of Phoebos Apollon. Enemy of disease, whose blameless consort is Hygeia, come, O blessed one, a savior and bring life to a good end. I now call on Priestess Lammy to say opening Apella prayers.
Priestess shouts, "Hestia, you who tend the holy house of the Lord Apollo, the far shooter at goodly Pytho, with soft oil dripping ever from your locks, come now into this house, come, having one mind with Zeus the all-wise, draw near, and withal bestow grace upon my song. We offer you a libation of sweet honeyed wine. Hail Almighty Zeus the Thunderer, hail all the gods of Olympus. We offer you a libation of sweet honeyed wine. May the gods bless all in attendance of these prayers."
Socrates pours libations of honey-sweet wine from his chalice for the gods. Socrates salutes.
Queen says, "Thank you for the prayers, Hieros." I summon Ambassador Asteria to deliver both the army and management reports. Asteria rises gracefully from her seat beside the throne, placing her right fist over her heart in the traditional Spartan salute before addressing the assembly. Herida salutes. Queen salutes. Asteria says, "As a daughter of Sparta who knows that our strength lies not in stone walls but in stalwart hearts, I present the census of our people." The population remains stable as you left it, O Queen, but its fixed numbers do not indicate stagnation. Rather, they indicate the presence of a solid and loyal core on which the crown can rely. Queen says, "Asteria. Hieros reported to me several people wanting to make home to our army and empire. Let me grab the names from the scroll." Zarkbrunn resident, April 19, 2025. 6 of Ephor 60708 FA 095351 Army. Stelios 34 resident, July 23, 2014 3646031 B7 F4 before 0978822990 DF, Navy.
Neisa Beorn, 19 de septiembre de 2009, 3 de 08CB68B9594B4B90 FECAD 46 BEAD, espectador.
Asteria says, I have got their names, O Queen, but since they are not part of our empire yet, then they weren't included in my report. Queen says, have you contacted them? Asteria says, not yet. Queen says, all right, sister, this is urgent. Let not wait people to wait behind Spartan gates for too long. Asteria says, it will be done soon, O Queen. Queen says, thank you, please continue reporting. Asteria says, it is also my duty to report to this assembly that, thanks to Her Majesty's generosity, 2 new prestigious buildings embellish our polis, the elegant residence of our counselor and the new embassy headquarters. They are not only symbols of our power but also glorious testimonies to the value of our craftsmen and architects. Queen says, smiles. Architecture of Sparta grows, which makes us proud. Priestess says, are you discussing something? Asteria says, "Indeed, our polis now stands out, with prestigious buildings but furnished with the simplicity and frugality that set us apart." Finally, there is also a request for you, gracious Majesty. As you know, work is in full swing around the new fields, but there is much to be done. Land to be dug up, waterways to be diverted, and more. For this reason, I am here tonight to ask for more hands to complete the task. We need more helots to carry on the work, Majesty. Queen says, "Reasonable request." I decree to take as many helots as our builders see fit. Asteria smiles with satisfaction. "Thank you, my queen. This will allow us to complete more quickly our task." Queen says, "General is again on the seas. He might bring some fresh blood as well." Asteria says, "Let's hope gods will grant him success in his endeavor." With this latest news, I conclude my report on the population, Your Majesty. Queen says, nods. Asteria says, as for matters of diplomacy. She pauses, her expression becoming more grave. It would be the proper time to bring your majesty intelligence from the other empires, but tonight I present myself before you empty-handed. More than this, I come with tied hands and tied by none other than you yourself, my sovereign, she says without hiding a certain irritation. Queen says, narrows her eyes. Asteria says, the prohibition against travel to Midgard remains firmly in place by your command. The declaration of war against Athens still awaits your majesty's seal. Until these knots are untied, there is little more I am permitted to accomplish in service to Sparta's diplomatic interests. Queen says, sometimes taking a rest and train is the best thing to do, she says looking closely at Asteria. The winds of war are blowing trough Hellas, sooner or later we all will wear our armor and go to take what belonged to us, leans back in the throne focusing her gaze on Ambassador. Until then you have to be patient, sister. Asteria clenches her fists, forcing a nod of agreement that betrays her impatience. I have no further matters to report this evening, as I have devoted these recent days to relocating the scrolls and records to the new embassy building and instructing the household staff in their duties. Queen says, nods once again hiding a slight smile, Ambassador Asteria. Your reports are greatly appreciated. You may now return to your seat. Queen salutes. Asteria says, Herida, salutes. Queen says, now I would like to request the council representatives to update us on the ongoing trials in the Empire, recent command events, ongoing and those scheduled for the near future. Please step forward to provide your reports. Priestess says, are you talking about combat?
Mineya stands up and steps forward to present her reports. Eurede. Salutes. Mineya, holding her scroll with both hands, unrolls it and begins to read about the events that took place the last week.
Priestess says, "Are you discussing something?" Queen salutes.
Mineya says, last Wednesday took place the belly dance hosted by Hieros Socrates, who reported the following. There was a Greek-themed dance party in Sparta on Wednesday 22 October which everyone enjoyed. The music included the latest Greek hits, new tracks, modern and traditional Ksiftotalia belly dance, and tracks from around the Mediterranean. DJ Socrates Dionysus.
Queen says, ****. Asteria claps hands.
Mineya says, as always she feels so sorry to not assist to that. Mineya pauses for a second and goes on. On Sunday 26th the Bards' gathering took place. She will read what our counselor Aolangel reported about it. In the majestic empire of Sparta, an unforgettable morning of poetry was held. 6 readers took the words with their voices evoking tales of honor, love, and battle. The verses, filled with emotion and wisdom, seemed to awaken ancient echoes that still slept within the foundations of the fortress. Then guests, including nobles, artists, and guardians of knowledge, listened with reverent attention. Every word spoken fell like a spark upon the hearts of those present, igniting forgotten memories and passions. Some closed their eyes to feel the power of the verses, while others watched the readers with admiration, perceiving in them the indomitable spirit that defined a Spartacan. The atmosphere became almost sacred, uniting everyone in a shared pulse of emotion and respect for the poetic word. At the end of the evening, the attendees rose in applause that filled the hall with a roar worthy of the ancient heroes. The torches kept burning as the voices slowly faded, leaving in the air the promise of another gathering. Thanks to Saber and Jolie for always host our eternal morning of poetry, and I invite all presents to the next Sunday of poetry around the world. Of. Other nice event I lose too, Smiles.
Queen says, ****. Asteria claps hands.
Mineya breathes a while and goes on reading. And then the training carried out by our counselor, of which you will also read what she has reported. In the vast arena of Sparta, where the sun falls like fire upon the stone and dust, 2 warriors train without rest. Their names echo through the walls like a song of strength and discipline. They cross their swords in a steady, precise, almost ritual rhythm. The sound of metal collides with the echo of their breathing, and every movement reflects years of effort and devotion to the art of combat. Neither seeks to defeat the other, but to rise together, tempering their spirits like the steel they wield. The time of training in Sparta knows no mercy. The hours blur with the sweat that runs down their foreheads, with the sand that clings to their bodies, and with the stern gaze of the masters who watch them. Every fall is a lesson, every stroke a promise of improvement. Beneath the blazing sun, they learn to master not only their weapons, but also their emotions, their minds, and their will. The sisterhood between them grows stronger amidst the pain, a bond forged in the flame of perseverance until the end. Thank you to Ambassador Asteria for joining to the training as always, and I invite all son and daughter of Sparta to join our training next Sunday. Oath.
Queen says, "It's a very nice report. Truly. I almost feel sorry for not attending."
Mineya nods.
Queen says, "Hail Sparta.
Hail Sparta.
Hurroo. Hurroo." Asteria says, "Sparta blessed by the gods to protect us forever. Haro." Priestess says, "Are you discussing something?"
Mineya concludes with a brief summary of the events and activities that will take place this week for everyone's knowledge. This Thursday, the belly dance under the guidance of Ephor Mineya is dedicated to the creatures of the night from Greek mythology. The creatures of the night are born of darkness, giving rise to sleep, hypnos, death, thanatos, and destiny, moirai. From the night, nyx, and darkness, erebus, also spring the celestial air, aether, and the day, emera. The Gorgons, Steno, Euryale and Medusa embody the petrifying gaze of the night, and the sirens, with their sweet song, lure sailors to their doom with their deadly voices.
Queen says, "A very nice introduction, Mineya. I like it."
Mineya wants to see these creatures of the night dance to the sinuous rhythms of belly dancing, mixed with an aura of mystery and sensuality. Mineya smiles.
Queen says, "Asterisk eboots asterisk." Asteria claps hands.
Mineya says, on Friday, myths and legends of ancient Greece, stories, poems, tales and historical facts with Queen Aurora to lead.
Queen says, "Participation is obligatory." XD.
Mineya will do her best. On Sunday, once again the Muses will bring inspiration in the usually well-attended bard gathering which as always is hosted by Saberman Carter.
Queen says, "Asterisk eboots asterisk." Asteria claps hands.
Mineya says, later Counselor Aelangel will share her skills with the sword to train the brave Spartans. Mineya encourages everyone to attend these events and bring your friends and family who are sure to love it. Mineya has nothing more to add and closes her scroll. Mineya smiles.
Queen says, "Thank you for your reports, Ephor. These are appreciate. You may now have a seat." She adds warmly. Queen salutes.
Mineya says, Eurede. Salutes. Mineya retires to her seat.
Queen says, ponders for a moment, should there be anyone here today with a yearning to speak in this gathered Apella, we invite you to share your thoughts now. Citizens, your opinions and concerns are not just welcomed but cherished. Please step forward if you wish to share your thoughts with us. Apella members have the opportunity to speak if desired. Priestess says, "Are you discussing something?"
Mineya has no questions to ask and no comments to make.
Asteria looks away, lost in her thoughts. Queen says, "Perhaps in the upcoming Apella gathering, there will be voices eager to express their thoughts and concerns, and we will eagerly lend our ears. For now, however..." At the conclusion of today's Apella meeting, I shall recite words that were spoken in days past. Play your truth like Apollo's lyre, and let your harmony reshape even the harshest dissonance. Taking a moment to gather her thoughts, she turns her gaze towards Hieros. I kindly ask Hieros Socrates to offer the closing prayers for this Apella.
Socrates pours libations of honey-sweet wine from his chalice for the gods. To Zeus. Much honored Zeus, indestructible Zeus, we lay before you this redeeming testimony and this prayer. O King, you have brought to light divine works, and earth, goddess and mother, the hills swept by the shrill winds, the sea, the host of stars marshaled by the sky. Cronian Zeus, whose scepter is the thunderbolt, strong-spirited, father of all, beginning and end of all, earth-shaker, increaser and purifier, indeed all-shaker, god of thunder and lightning, Zeus the planter. Hear me, O many-faced one, and grant me unblemished health, divine peace, and riches and glory without blame.
Priestess says, "Are you worshipping?"
Socrates pours libations of honey-sweet wine from his chalice for the gods. I now call on Priestess Lamy to say closing Apella prayers.
Priestess shouts, "I will sing of Zeus, chiefest among the gods and greatest, all-seeing, the Lord of all, the fulfiller who whispers words of wisdom to Themis as she sits leaning towards him. Be gracious, all-seeing son of Kronos, most excellent and great. We offer you a libation of sweet honeyed wine. May Zeus and the gods bless this city, its king, its princess regent, its royals, and all of its citizens. We offer you a libation of sweet honeyed wine. May the gods bless all who attended these prayers."
Socrates pours final libations of honey-sweet wine from his chalice for the gods. Socrates salutes.
Queen says, asterisk evaluates asterisk. Queen salutes. Thank you for your prayers, Hieros and Lambis. I appreciate everyone who joined us in today's Apella. We may now conclude the meeting. I wish you all good night, she announces, rising from her throne.
Mineya wishes sweet dreams to our queen.
Queen says, with a warm wave to those assembled in the hall, a hint of satisfaction lighting her eyes. She then proceeds behind her throne, vanishing in the hidden basement gates. Asteria rises from her seat as well, wishing to all present a peaceful night and rest.
Mineya says, Eurede. Salutes.
Asteria says, presents asterisk. Queen salutes. Asteria says, Herida, salutes.
Mineya wishes the same.
Apella says, Adine Odgar is at the gate.
Pairat says, hello Asteria.
Asteria says, have a good night, Spartans. Herida, salutes.
Mineya says, good night.
Socrates says, good night. Socrates salutes.
Mineya says, Eurede. Salutes. Sweet dreams to you too.